It was 6 o'clock in the winter evening when I was lying on the couch, sipping some hot coffee from the mug and reading a book. Evening that day was already becoming dark by then. That book had engrossed me so much that I had forgotten that I needed to visit Garry's house by 5:45. I was on an interesting part of the book when I received a phone call from Garry telling me to come quickly, about which I had almost forgotten. I reached Garry's home by 6:20. "What made you so late?" "I wanted to tell you something," said Garry with a deep and serious voice. In the school, too, he wasn't keeping well since many days. "Actually, I had almost forgotten. I am sorry." "What? You wanted to tell me?" I asked. He said, "Look, Ryan, don't freak out. It is that His voice fumbled. "Don't worry, man, I won't." "Say whatever you want to," I said, sensing certain reluctance in his tone. "I am having frequent blackouts daily. Earlier it was fine and bearable, but now the blackouts, their intensity is increasing. Yesterday, I was completing my homework when I had one blackout yet again. When I woke up, I found myself lying in the bathtub with my legs dipped in the bucket filled with water. What's worse is that I have scratches on my skin where blood appears to be frozen. These scratches are in the shape of crosses." And his voice trailed off. I was suffering with an array of emotions, fear and astonishment being prime. He showed me the scratches, present all over his back, seeming as if somebody had pierced his long sharp nails into him. "How is this even possible? I am sensing something bad, Garry. Why don't you tell your father about it?" I said. "After my mother's death in the accident, my dad has become really depressed. I don't want to add to his problems," he said. Cuckoo's call came from the clock as the hour hand of the clock struck 7. When I looked back where Garry was standing earlier, to my surprise he wasn't there. Now I definitely was freaking out. In fact, he wasn't there in the room. I called, "Where are you?" And the flickering lights of the room turned off, and the room became all dark. Things were now terribly wrong, and I regretted coming to Garry's house. "Garry, are you trying to scare me?" "Yes, I am scared now, please stop this," I shouted, but to no avail. There was now a screeching sound from the far end of the room. Embrace mourir, called a devilish voice from the same far end of the room. "What is happening?" "Stop! What is mourir?" I shouted. I tried to move quickly, but it was as if I had been frozen right there, unable to move. I heard foot approaching me in the dark. I had to do something that too, quickly. "Mourir is death. You must have it to have Elysium," said a voice from a person whose footsteps sounded really close to me. Suddenly there was flicker the light in the room, and I was able to see it. It had complete jet black eyes, a sharp pointed nose, his teeth bare, and his hands with those claw-like fingers raised. It was Garry. I was getting goosebumps. I felt terrified and haunted. Again, the light flickered and he was smiling, looking at me with a gleam in his eyes. "Now nowhere can you go. You must be succumbed to death by me. Garry has planted an idea about me in you. You must receive Elysium now."